My 7 favorite Captain Kirk scenes in Star Trek movies, ranked. My 7 favorite Captain James T. Kirk scenes in the Star Trek movies show why he's a hero of great depth and complexity. Kirk was originated by William Shatner and rebooted by Chris Pine as the main character of 9 Star Trek movies, with Captain Kirk also a special guest star in the first movie starring the cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation. In his first 4 Star Trek movie appearances, Kirk began as an admiral before being demoted back to captain of the USS Enterprise, the position that is Jim's first, best destiny. Captain Kirk remained in the Starship Enterprise's center seat for the final 2 movies starring the cast of Star Trek, the original series. In J.J. Abrams' Star Trek trilogy, Kirk began as a Starfleet cadet and heroically rose to become captain. Whether he's Admiral Kirk or Captain Kirk, and played by William Shatner or Chris Pine, James T. Kirk retains his heroic core and a tendency to leap where angels fear to tread. Yet Kirk is also deeply loyal, complex, and at times lonely when he's not surrounded by his found family aboard his beloved Starship Enterprise. Here are my 7 favorite Captain Kirk Star Trek movie moments. Chris Pine's young Captain Kirk distilled William Shatner's Starfleet hero into his base components: recklessness, alpha male drive, and heroism. Kirk spent J.J. Abrams' Star Trek 2009 trying to assert himself as the leader of the Starship Enterprise's efforts to stop the Romulan time traveler Nero Eric Bana from destroying Earth. Finally, Kirk and Spock Zachary Quinto worked together to defeat Nero and confronted the Romulan in Kirk's finest moment. As red matter consumed Nero's starship, the Narada, into a black hole, Captain Kirk offered the Romulan assistance in the interest of peace to Spock's objection. When Nero prefers to die in agony, Kirk replies, "You got it." It's a jaw-dropping and rousing moment of Kirk unapologetically agreeing to give Nero the fate he requested. Among his many dynamic scenes in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek movies, this was the moment Chris Pine's James T. Kirk became captain. Captain James T. Kirk was filled with existential dread at the thought of peace with the Klingon Empire at the start of Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Kirk was so disturbed, he uncharacteristically told Spock Leonard Nimoy, "Let them die." Kirk felt even worse when he was forced to host the Klingons at dinner before he was framed for assassinating Chancellor Gorkin David Warner. While Kirk and Dr. Leonard McCoy DeForest Kelley were imprisoned on Rurapent, Jim had time to reflect on his fears about the Klingons. Kirk confronted why he was terrified by the idea of peace with the Klingons, and Jim realized he was wrong. It was a remarkable moment of introspection that gave Kirk insight on the greater conspiracy and motivated the captain to stop it in the name of galactic peace. Captain James T. Kirk, fearless leader, charming rogue, and Starfleet's most iconic officer. Across multiple decades and 2 distinct portrayals, from William Shatner's original swagger to Chris Pine's modern bravado, Kirk has commanded the USS Enterprise with charisma, cunning, and the occasional fistfight. As a lifelong Star Trek fan, I've witnessed countless Kirk moments, but some stand above the rest, not just for their spectacle, but for what they reveal about the man in the gold shirt. Here are my 7 favorite Captain Kirk scenes from the Star Trek movies ranked. 7. I don't believe in the no-win scenario. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan 1982. Let's start with a defining moment of Kirk's philosophy, his refusal to accept defeat. During a training simulation flashback, we learn Kirk cheated on the Kobayashi Maru test, famously beating the no-win scenario. Later, in a real-life mirror of the simulation, Kirk surprises everyone with his escape from a deadly trap laid by Khan. This scene is Kirk to his core, clever, confident, and unwilling to give up. It's not just a cool reveal. It defines how he thinks, leads, and survives. 6. Bar fight bravado, Star Trek 2009. Before he was captain, he was just Jim, reckless, brilliant, and itching for a fight. In J.J. Abrams' reboot, young Kirk picks a bar brawl with a group of Starfleet cadets after hitting on Uhura. It's not exactly noble, but it is 100% Kirk. Chris Pine nails the energy of a man who's destined for greatness, but hasn't found his path yet. What I love about this scene is its rawness. It's messy, but it shows Kirk's spark. The fight isn't just fists, it's frustration, ego, and potential waiting to ignite. Captain Kirk in 1980's San Francisco is a gift that keeps on giving. After time traveling to save Earth, he's completely out of his element and loving it. When a rude cab driver nearly runs him over, Kirk doesn't hold back his 23rd century confusion or his newly acquired 20th century lingo. This moment is hilarious, but also brilliant. It shows Kirk's adaptability and humor. He's not above a little improvisation, especially when the stakes involve saving whales and the planet. 4. The Genesis reveal Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan 1982. Few scenes showcase Kirk's leadership and intellect like the moment he turns the tables on Khan using coded communication. Stranded and seemingly beaten, Kirk calmly counts down the minutes until they can remotely lower the Reliance shields and strike back. This is vintage Kirk, thinking 5 steps ahead, playing his opponent like a chessboard. While Khan rages, Kirk smiles. The scene delivers both a strategic masterstroke and a reminder: never underestimate James T. Kirk. 3. Death of Kirk Prime, Star Trek, Generations 1994. Kirk's final moments in Generations were met with mixed reactions from fans, but the scene itself carries weight. After helping Captain Picard defeat the villainous Saran, Kirk is mortally wounded. As he lays dying, his last words are quiet, contemplative. It was fun. It's an unexpectedly humble exit for a man known for his grand entrances. There's no explosion, no fanfare, just a man who knows he lived on his terms. The understated nature of his farewell makes it hit harder. It's the kind of ending only Kirk could pull off. 2. I have been, and always shall be, your friend. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan 1982. This scene technically centers on Spock, but make no mistake, it's also one of Kirk's finest. When Spock sacrifices himself to save the Enterprise, Kirk arrives just in time to say goodbye. Through the glass of a radiation chamber, their hands meet, one last Vulcan salute. Kirk's grief is quiet but devastating. Of all the souls I have encountered in my travels, his was the most human. The scene breaks your heart, not just because Spock dies, but because Kirk is powerless, something he rarely is. It's a moment that strips away the bravado and leaves only the man. Shatner delivers perhaps his most sincere performance here. You feel it in your gut. 1. Fire Everything. The Star Trek Into Darkness 2013. Say what you will about the Kelvin timeline films, but Chris Pine's Kirk got some epic moments, and none more intense than the vengeance-fueled standoff with Khan in Into Darkness. After witnessing the destruction of Starfleet headquarters and the near death of his mentor, Kirk takes command with laser-focused rage. When he utters the command, "Fire everything," it's chilling. This isn't reckless, cocky Kirk. This is a captain who has seen the cost of mercy and chooses fury instead. But the beauty of this scene is what comes after. Kirk learns, once again, that vengeance has a price. It's a rare moment where Kirk's emotions get the better of him, and it teaches him and us that leadership means more than instinct. Final log. Captain Kirk has been played by different actors, written by different screenwriters, and filmed in wildly different decades. But at his heart, he's always the same man, bold, brash, and deeply human. Whether he's outwitting enemies, getting into trouble, or saying goodbye to a friend, Kirk embodies what it means to command with passion. These scenes aren't just my favorites, they're pieces of a larger legacy. And man,